Pledge of allegiance. Are we ready?
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
All right. Good morning, everyone. All right, we will move on to agenda confirmation. Do we have any changes to the agenda?
Madam Chair, I don't have any modifications to the agenda, but I just wanted to make a note. If you see on your agenda, Human Resources, Tiara will be going earlier. She does have some things she's got to get to.
Okay.
And it is scheduled at 9, so I'm hoping that we can keep that time in mind because I believe Tessa Melvin from DDA is planning on being online too in case there were any questions from the board.
Okay.
All right. With that being said, I will take a motion to approve the agenda.
I'll make a motion to approve the agenda.
I'll second it.
All right. Any further discussion? All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. And Barry's here. Morning, Barry.
When you've been here for over a decade, you can come anytime you want.
All right, we will move on to the minutes. Does anybody have any additions or corrections to the minutes?
I had none.
I had a couple and I got to find them. If we go to page under transit where it says bus purchase in the amount of 165 with our local share of 13,000. I was thinking that should say including our local share instead of our with our local share. Does that make more sense? Page
2 of 3.
2 of 3 of the minutes, or page 4 of the packet.
You just want the total to reflect correctly.
Yeah, it just seems like the purchase amount in purchase.
Just saying with our local share being 16,000.
Yeah.
Yeah, being. Yep.
And then the 245th update presented by Kevin and Charlie. I don't know that they really presented anything. Maybe I'm just was in a mood when I went over minutes, but
Well, it was on the agenda for administration. So
Probably more me.
just put an update at
I mean, we could just say
that
Kevin and Charlie were present.
township
Yeah.
supervisors
Township
Yeah.
supervisor
for the presentation.
Yeah.
Yeah.
For the update.
Yeah.
And then on that same thing, I said, it says move on with it being a township road, probably reference, I just said the township is moving forward with recording that as a township road or as documenting it properly for a township.
Recording it or,
Yep.
yeah.
And then the bullet point number 2, I think September 1st deadline was a county deadline, county imposed deadline. So the county, Becker County will have a result or plan by September 1st. It wasn't the township plan, it was the county committed to having something.
Then I had another one, but I don't know. Oh, under the county administrator, the resolution 2261F, delegation of authority with the modification of the annual agreement. I don't know if we want to include more of what that is out for contracts,
Yeah. We
right?
changed
That
it.
was what we made for the
That was what Gary
contracts.
can sign off from if
Yeah.
the increase isn't greater than 5%. Now we change it to
Change it to
3%.
3%.
Yeah,
So you
so
just maybe want to pass the resolution with the annual contract increase maximum being 3% rather than the 5% as original. Or you could just eliminate it and say we changed it
To 3%.
we changed it to 3% as part of the resolution, so you don't have to reference it if you
Yeah.
change
Do
it.
that, yeah.
I was just thinking if I'm looking at the minutes and I see this, I would have no idea what that means.
You could just say pass the resolution,
Mm-hmm.
and we changed that before we passed it, so it's,
Do you Yeah, do you maybe need more words in there for
I would-
on behalf of the
Yeah.
board? Is that what you're thinking?
Mhm.
Or you could just not say anything, just say you pass the resolution pertaining to annual contracts, renewals. Because as we record that resolution, it will say 3%.
3%, yeah.
It came in the packet as 5%, but when it was recorded, it will be 3% like we said to change it, correct? So reference to change doesn't really tell you anything in minutes. You should refer to that contract anyway, that resolution, I mean.
Yep.
So it's like the minutes. You don't list the changes in the minutes, you just approve the minutes.
And then the last one that I had was just under the sheriff, number 2, with the out-of-state travel. I just wanted to make note that the training was reimbursed and that it was,
And I put the details of when and where too. So
Yeah.
I mean, so it's not a blanket, it's a one-time.
yeah, and then I just put that the only cost would be the wages of car rental to the county. That was all I had.
Yeah, that was one that I had, and you touched on the other one, so.
I'll make a motion to approve the minutes with the changes.
All right, I have a motion. Do I have a second?
Second.
Any further discussion? All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried. All right, then we will move on to the consent agenda. Does anybody wish to pull anything off the consent agenda?
I was going to pull something off when I looked at it initially. I was looking at the assessor abatements and I saw that those were quite large. Then I looked at the numbers that they pertain to, and I know what they are now, specifically the ones that I was, so I'm not requiring that. I don't want, but those changes struck me pretty quickly, and then when I pulled those parcel numbers up, then I saw I remember the gentleman that was here, we corrected
Yep.
that
Yep.
as good as we could.
Yep.
Correct.
Because I would like some of those changes also.
Yes.
I'll vote for that.
I will too. I think a lot of people.
So I will make a motion to approve the consent agenda.
All right, I have a motion to approve the consent agenda. Do I have a second?
I'll second.
Any further discussion? All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried. Open forum. Nobody signed up. All right. We're moving right along. She might even be able to be on before 9.
Oh, we'll have to come back, because Tessa would be here at 9.
Oh, sure. Okay. We can move on to reports and correspondence. Who wants to go first?
I want to start out I brought my Becker Bay donation. This is kind of cool.
Nice.
2 gold backs. I don't know if you guys know what gold backs are. These are gold foiled currency. Cool. 2 copper, silver rounds.
Nice, Barry.
1/10 silver.
Oh, awesome, thank you. So now they're on camera, everybody's gonna know that
So now everyone knows that those are.
Thank you.
What are the gold foiled things? What is that?
It's different states put out, and I don't think it's stakes sanctioned, but they're gold. There's in the paper itself, it's gold. So they have actual value, and there's a website that you can go onto and see what their value is compared to the currency. And there's some places that take that as currency, especially if
Interesting.
you're in
Like
doom and gloom.
in the United States, is
Yeah.
it?
I can't remember what states those 2 are, but, so they go, so if you get the one is a half, I think that's 1/1000th of an ounce and, or so, but they're kind of neat. They're collectible and they actually have value, even if the collectible thing goes away.
Do you want to start with your reports too? Or do you want to
Well,
go second or third?
I can start here. Just give me a second. All right. Who had courthouse with me? Dave?
I did.
Went over some policies. There will be some policies in front of us. Approved the seasonal 4-H staff, which is
It's on the, yeah.
budgeted for. Election judges is before us. Oh, we have that compensation thing. That'll be before us.
Yeah, we'll talk about that.
And
Then, I think
Go
the
ahead.
only thing that isn't on the agenda are the emails. So we're gonna start deleting emails that are more than 2 years old.
And how soon are we going to do that?
I
can
Yeah, go ahead.
talk a little
Okay,
bit more
good.
about that in my report.
Okay.
Okay, you're not going to talk now?
Oh,
Is it on your agenda or?
I have it in my list of things. I can talk about it now.
We can
When
wait.
would you like?
We can wait till your report.
Okay.
The only other thing, courthouse, I think that's not on is we're going to look, we have an internship opportunity, and that looks like it's going to go well in the Veteran Service Office from
Nice.
Morehead State, was it? Minnesota State, Morehead? Yes, Morehead State. I call it Morehead State. It's the old school, Morehead State. Oh, that's on the agenda too? Dang it, everything's on the agenda. Okay, I had joint powers, that wasn't on the agenda. We had Bethany Bethke representing DNR speak to us, and she actually works out of the Detroit Lakes office. She's the Red River Basin Coordinator for the DNR. Only on the Minnesota side, obviously. And then we had Cassie Setter talk briefly on the North Dakota, Minnesota supply chain soil health partnerships. Soil health is her role. And North Dakota has quite a bit of money for soil health projects, but they're smaller increments. It's better to go through NRCS if you can get, those are larger, but NRCS has more commitments or requirements. And big discussion of beaver control in different counties, or what we do with beaver and the bounty they have on beaver. Talked about, I brought up the dam removal at Bucks Mills for the sturgeon. I think it was 2 years ago now, we had sturgeon that were actually laying eggs, and that's the first time we've had that in that river, so.
By the way, Commissioner Nelson, that road is closed. They're working on the Bucks Mills project.
Oh, okay.
Or they got the road closed signs out there, so they're getting ready to start doing some work.
They mentioned that you had a brother too, that was really good. It sounded like we should try to get him coming to our meetings.
He's on the North Dakota Water Commission.
Yeah, so they were well versed in that and said that they were hoping that you couldn't come to this meeting because they'd never get out of there or something. I don't understand what that meant.
Payback.
They talked, one of the things that was mentioned that there's a new law that's being proposed or possible that that they can take the buffer law away from counties without them just giving it back. So if you require, or remember, we can give back the Bowser their control over the buffer law, but now they're trying to have the authority to take it if they don't feel the county is making them compliant enough or fines are adequate. So that's one thing to keep an eye on.
And is that going through the legislature?
It sounded like
this
it was being proposed now.
year? Okay. Session starts today.
Anyway, for right now, that's it. I will organize here and get back on.
You mean,
Go ahead.
okay, so I'll go, or if you want to go, Phil, I'll go. So I didn't have a historical society meeting, but today is Fat Tuesday. And the museum is doing a shrimp boil from 11 to 1 and also from 5 to 9. A shrimp boil is shrimp, potatoes, corn, sausage, there's all kinds of stuff, and it's really good. I don't know if anybody's ever had those before, or sometimes it's a crab boil. It's really good. Zeke Froman is cooking everything, so, and he's done it a bunch of times. So if you guys want to go eat sometime today, go to the museum and eat. I also had a courthouse bear we talked about, then I had a Lakes Country Service Co-op meeting. And just a quick little overview of what the service co-ops are and do. There's 9 service co-ops in Minnesota. Our service co-op, Lakes Country Service Co-op, is pretty much District 4 of AMC, except for I think Wadena and Todd counties are not in. They're in the Sourcewell Service Co-op. But anyway, basically they are a organization that offers services to schools, counties, cities, public organizations that mostly to schools. So they do educating teachers. They can take classes. They have they also take students like level 4 EBD students or special education students. They have services for that. They do all kinds of things. They also have a CDL class that they're working on starting. So there could be some benefits to our situation too, especially if the tech school doesn't teach the CDL class anymore. But anyway, back in 1993, they established
M-State, you mean?
Sorry, M-State. In 93, they established a Cooperative Resources, Inc., and it was called, and back in the 90s, you put Inc. You didn't say incorporated or service, what organization or whatever, you said Inc. Anyway, it's a 501(c), which is nonprofit organization. It was originally created to do procurement with North Dakota for, like when you do procurement, they do pricing like Lakes Country Service Co-op, or this organization would procure pricing from a company, and then they'd allow other entities that like schools or cities or counties to purchase equipment or items with that pricing. And actually, that's what it was originally started. But now they have a joint powers agreement with North Dakota, so that is not in effect anymore. So basically, I'm talking about this because they're going to restructure it. And the advantages to having a 501(c) nonprofit attached to, or sort of attached to, a service co-op is a service co-op can't do certain things, or they can't give money to. There's restrictions on it, and through, if they have this nonprofit, they can do some of those things. They can get granting with the nonprofit 501(c). So that's why they have it. And then also one interesting thing that I found out that I didn't know.
Oh, this will be a while.
No, this won't be a while. This will be like 30 seconds. So Lakes Country Service Co-op offers insurance to organizations, public organizations, and they have a pool of money. Well, the state can request and take that pool of money and then turn it into a statewide insurance if it works out, if it's possible. Well, to prevent that from happening, they can move that money into the 501(c), and then the state can't do that. So it's kind of a protection, gives them more flexibility to do some of those other things. But they're going to redo the bylaws. They're going to change the name and just update it a little bit because it's been a long time since it was created. So that's all, and actually that's about 30 seconds. And then Phil and I had a Heartland Trail meeting. We decided that we would like to amend the 2011 master plan to include more area. So basically, we talked about including all the area south of Lake Park and Ottoman, pretty much to the Becker County line, and then a little jut where County Road 20 goes into Otter Tail and juts down a little bit. We want to include that also, because there's a possibility we might look at going that direction. Also, we want to explore the Highway 10 corridor more too, so because it seems to be a faster way to get the trail done. And that's it.
Madam Chair, just to piggyback off Commissioner Meyer's discussion of the Heartland Trail. So expanding the corridor where the trail can go, it doesn't include the Cormorant area right now. Mm-hmm. So it could take up to 16 months just to get the expanded corridor through. But things are really slow with the Heartland Trail anyway. I mean, we've got to get the money and studies, but to expand this corridor to see if there would be a way to go through the Cormorant area, there was a lot of our discussion on that. So are you done?
Yeah, I'm done.
Okay. Yeah, and then I did call down to Otter Tail County. Now the trail from Pelican to Perham is not Heartland Trail. And I just asked, what was the county share of that? And they said about 25% is what they thought to get that done. Because you don't really know where the Heartland Trail is. There's a lot of trails around, but some of them are Heartland Trail and some of them you can just do your own thing and do offshoots of it. Because as we head down, we did that study to Bucks Mills, would that be Heartland Trail or would that be another trail? So all these things kind of intertwine, but you have to know where your funding sources are. And, maybe Heartland Trail funding, maybe not. So that was the discussion. Very, very enlightening, learned a lot there. Okay. The other thing I had is I had my first magic meeting. MAGIC is Minnesota Association of Governments Investing in Counties. US Bank is the back for all of this. They just handle all the financial investing for that. That's what I learned. And their MAGIC fund performance is a little above what you could get at the regular bank, but I thought it'd be more actually, since you're investing 1.9 billion at a time. But just learned about the ins and outs of that, and pretty easy to do. You take county money, you invest it when they need it back. It's very liquid and goes out the next day whenever counties need it.
Would that be something Mayor's office would take most of her money then and put in there and not do the individual CDs like we're doing locally?
Well, as I've talked to Mary, we could put all of that money in MAGIC if we wanted to, but I think Mary's decided to stay local and support a few banks around here too. There's always that 250 FDIC insured thing. I don't know if that applies to government investing as well, but we do try to support local banks, which I think is a good thing, but some of that money goes into the MAGIC fund too.
As the banking industry changes, there's less local banks around. I mean, what I consider local banks, they're big corporate banks.
Correct, yeah, okay. Yeah, I know what you
So I don't have any problem supporting local banks and local economy, but there is a point where the return is we have to recognize the return for all taxpayers in the county also. So I mean, it's a balance there, I think. So I would like to see us maybe.
So Commissioner Nelson, recognize the return, meaning not support local banks because the return is greater at
There's a
MAGIC?
balance. If
Well-
the balance gets to be a point, if MAGIC gives you significant money more, then you go to MAGIC.
It's not significant in my opinion, but
That's where I'm saying,
I think Mary's done a really nice job of,
farming these out to local banks.
she has, and she's, somebody's got to keep tabs on that, and she's done a nice job, in my opinion.
That's what I mean, though. If it's 2%,
Correct.
you go to MAGIC.
Absolutely.
If it's 0.5%, we stay local.
Yeah,
And
correct.
Mary does a very nice job of making sure
And
that
those-
the local banks know what we're getting at the MAGIC.
And I know she takes there and she goes in there and Mary is a very good watchdog for our financials.
She is.
There's no doubt.
Thank you, Mary, for what you've done. Okay, so that was my MAGIC fund stuff. I also had a recreational advisory committee, the RAC, with Erica. Project 412 is working real hard on this Trail Alliance, trying to come up with a logo, so we viewed that. I'd never seen anything on the Dunton Locks tram. I was kind of educated on that. There's a financial component to that, and people, I guess I didn't know that. We run the tram. We're responsible for that as the county, and
Yes, and at our meeting, and I just pulled my notes up for that, we've made money the last couple of years, largely in part because I think the Lake Sally Association and those surrounding that have fundraised for repairs in the past. And they've got significant money to help with those repairs. And the repairs now, I think Mitch said that new design or that new wheel is working a lot better. And I'm not familiar with that. John Okeson was the one that was spearheading that all the time.
unlike Sally.
Did that new dock get put in this year? On the Mud Lake?
You mean
side?
this winter or last summer?
No, last summer.
Yeah, we had, we
I
put.
meant
No,
last
it's
summer.
kind of coming up. It's not.
But did we put it in last summer, or is it gonna come in this spring?
No,
That
we
was
put
my
it in
question.
Last year.
Yeah, it
We
was
did put it in last
I
year.
don't know. I
And
think Steve will have to confirm or Mitch to see if make sure that.
Where's that at?
It's on the Mud Lake side.
Yeah, because we were talking that we unloaded people and because the boats are getting so big.
Big,
So
yeah.
we asked people to unload weight when they cross the tram because it was too much stress on the tram.
So I would get to stay on the
So that,
pontoon.
We'd have
probably-
you push it and then we wouldn't have to even,
that has a lot to do with how well it's been working.
ask
Yeah,
And
I
how
think
we're
so.
unloading on
So we
that
put
dock.
a dock out so people could easily get off.
Get off there and get their big coolers and stuff off. So yeah, so hopefully it'll just keep running nicely.
So we discussed that. Thank you for the the extra discussion here. I didn't know those things. And then we talked about the Wanigan roundabout going into Wanigan Park over in Frazee, and the county commitment and what that all looks like. A lot of details to be worked out there yet. Harlan Trail we talked about, and just one other thing in the consent, we talked about those lit intersections in the county. So we got the final payment we approved in the consent agenda, but just so you know, and I think this is a big thing to push out to our constituents, we've got 31 lit intersections in our county now, which I think is it's a really good thing for our residents. They seem to be safer. I see them all around as well. But that was a federal grant. The fee is about, what did Jim say? He said $31 to $60 to fund those monthly, but to keep them lit. That seems like a pretty reasonable cost. 2012, we did 5 projects. 2018, the county did 13 projects. And then 2025, we had 11 intersections that were lit up with federal grant money. But it's a good thing, and I think that's something we should all make sure we get out to our constituents, that this is making our county better. And that's all I have.
Just to add to that, and I don't know if this was part of RAC, I believe Project 412 mentioned it, that the economic summit on, and I think, is that through this city? It's March 27th, but it's
The same number I got.
there is a session, or the economic summit is on the economic impact of outdoor recreation. So if anybody's interested in attending. And that was all I had to add to the RAC committee. Do you want me to do human services?
Yeah, I'll let you do that.
Okay.
I had NRM with Barry. We talked about the little Sugar Bush tax forfeited property with the tribe, and they're gonna probably help us maintain and do things there, and it looks like we might get a new dock from them, right, Barry? That's what he said. They
said they had a dock that was possible. They were going to check into it.
We might possibly get from them. We'll talk about the cabin there later. I see that's coming up later. We talked about yurts. I don't know if everybody knows what a yurt is, but it's like a canvas igloo, I learned. We've been talking about, but they're kind of expensive. So we did find out they're Scandinavian, ain't they? Is that what
Mongolian.
Mongolian,
They're-
that's
yep,
right,
they're Mongolian.
that's right. That's what it was.
What is this for?
Well, we're talking.
Well,
Seems a little-
earlier in the year, we put out a charge to the RAC committee to find 1 or 2 spots for like a yurt.
Yeah.
I don't know, and we haven't heard back, but they were bringing the cost of them back to us to show how much they cost.
And the tribe is, or?
No,
who is?
us, the county at NR, and we talked about it earlier in the year to have a campsite with a yurt. We're looking into what requirements we have to have for bathroom facility and water facility, so.
So this would be like a campsite?
Well, it's
Yeah.
so it's a little dome, and it's like most of them are one room. Some of them have plumbing in them, some
Yeah,
have
some of
nothing.
them are, some people have nicer homes.
They're kind of expensive,
The-
so we might go to teepees, but we.
Well, and that's one thing we were serious.
We ventured.
The teepees aren't, that's not how our local tribe, that's not there. That's more of a traveling.
Sure, yep.
But theirs were,
Wigwam.
Wigwams. Yeah.
yeah.
Were
Was
you
it
there?
wigwam?
You were there, weren't you?
there.
Oh, that's right.
So I mean, it'd be kind of interesting to incorporate that also, but.
And this is up at Sugar Bush?
No, this was just anywhere
just
on,
wherever.
this was just anywhere on tax forfeit land to try to find a suitable site for, I mean, maybe along the hiking trail, to give shelter if someone's hiking and they want to spend the night out in the woods, but
Madam Chair, Commissioner Nelson, is this permanent or temporary or
Permanent.
seasonal?
Yurts are permanent.
Oh,
I mean, it's permanent, it's
Yeah,
built
they're
to be.
canvas covered. They're not,
I mean, they're not gonna last forever.
So
I think
I
They're
don't
not
know.
gonna be taken down.
Yeah, I think so. I think the material can be different on all of them, and you can fine tune it however you want. But it's something that we're looking into trying to move forward with establishing where a need might be. And I was pretty sure that we asked RAC to find a spot or 2 for those. I mean, I remember asking it in this meeting. I mean, at the board meeting early in the year. But you've had a lot of information traveling through that little circle spinning
Thank you.
wheel.
I
Thank you,
don't remember it,
Commissioner
Barry.
Nelson.
Well, I can
I
go
don't
find
remember
it in
either.
the.
Did you dream
I
about
can go
it?
find it in the
Thanks.
videos if you want. Anyway,
There's a yurt up on your screen.
There you go.
that's a big one.
That's a big yurt.
Yeah.
So those canvas covers are supposed to last longer. They should last longer than shingles. So the roof will should last
Really?
long. Yeah. That's when I read about them. Yeah, that's what they said.
Interesting.
There's 30 to years maybe before you have to, you can treat it with like something too.
About what shingles left.
Yeah, I suppose about shingles, yeah, 25.
Hey, Barry, you got anything you want?
The committee,
wanna add to NRM? We are gonna-
yurt can be 25 to 35,000. I think we can probably find them cheaper, smaller ones also. And that was recommended bring to RAC to discuss their interest or other ideas. The Bucks Mills project, I think the update Asheville construction was the successful contractor, 3.1 million, and they're obviously, Phyllis said they're already starting that. And let's see. One thing we looked at, they wanted a side-by-side or another four-wheeler for NRM for the forester. They didn't want to share a four-wheeler going through the woods, which seemed reasonable, but I suggested that we look into, the sheriff has numerous four-wheelers and UTVs, and if they have one in surplus, because when they bought that the Ranger, we did not get rid of anything, so I'm sure there's probably at least a four-wheeler that's in excess, or maybe we could just share, because the amount of use, I just think there needs to be some partnership there. I don't think we want to buy another. How many we saw when we were out on tour? We certainly have enough ATVs, and
but two guys on a four-wheeler.
No.
It just, and that's what they're doing now.
right. But if
And
they had
so-
one more, they'd each have a four-wheeler.
And okay, well, that way, but then it's this time of year, it's really nice to have a enclosure and a heater. I don't know. If you're talking and back and forth with the logger and going through stuff, I don't know. But yeah, you're right. If they each had a four-wheeler, it'd be a lot better, but.
The other thing we talked about is they're looking to upgrade their pickup. They have an old 2018 or 2011 pickup, and then they have a 2018 Chevrolet Suburban that used to be with the STS crew. Well, we don't certainly need and the Suburban, I guess, is fairly decent. So I would suggest that we sell that. Hopefully there's a vehicle that highway or sheriff has that we can, because I think there was some pickups in there. But we gotta find inventory and make sure
Madam Chair, don't we have to be careful about, wasn't it STS, wasn't that purchased with sheriff funds?
I'm not sure where the funds were, but I think as that program's dissolved, I think, and I'm pretty sure that when we talked about this earlier, the state was very willing to dissolve these partnerships. So, I mean, you can't go back and track those. So, but I mean, there's some checking to do, but I think we need to liquidate some of the equipment that we have. And if we need a new vehicle, then we need a new vehicle. But let's exhaust or four-wheeler. Let's exhaust and make sure we can get rid of something. I mean, I think we have a little bit too many things sitting around.
Yeah, and I think we need to get better about partnering between departments and cross
I mean, there's no,
utilizing equipment, and
there's
we
no
talked
reason,
about that at finance with snow plowing.
no reason to sit on these four-wheelers and let them,
No, and maybe we trade them in or something too. I don't know,
But I think we need to get an inventory of all of our equipments and say, if we're going to keep all this, it needs a shared department. I mean, the amount of time that the NRM would need it is, during the day. I mean, and if the sheriff had an emergency, I mean, they still have a lot of units, but if they needed more, then it's already out in the fields, and most likely it's going to be closer to where it's needed than, I mean, if there's a rescue, it's going to be northeast. It's not going to be, you're not going to need multiple ones, I would think. But anyway, I think it's maybe a good session day for discussion, Phil.
Yeah, work session.
Work session.
Actually, probably would be.
Thanks, Barry.
But I think I would like to have a full inventory of equipment and let's say, what can we share? And it will be nice if we could, as we move forward, get a central location for all of this equipment, like we're proposing. And then it'd be a lot easier. So especially if something comes to fruition, then we have a good spot. It's out a little bit more central located or over to the east a little bit. So
Madam, excuse me, Barry. Madam Chair, that was on my list as well, as far as equipment and vehicles. So I have brought that topic up to some of the department heads as well. So I think we're all on the same page of how we could better utilize resources within the county.
Mhm.
Then I had safety, and so now we have a nurse trained to do CPR training and
Nice.
AED training. And so we're gonna start with highway. I think it's gonna take 2 different sessions, is that right? Or is
At
it
least,
3?
yeah,
Or is it
there was
3?
at least 2.
They can
I
do
think they were like
8?
8 to 10.
Yeah, I think they can do 8. She can do 8 at a time. And so, and she can even train, she can train people to train, right? Did I get that right? Or not?
She's a trainer. I don't know if she can train
I
up.
thought we talked about that,
I
but
don't
maybe
remember
not.
that.
I might be wrong. But anyway, now, so that's gonna save us some money and we're gonna get that training done right here.
Nice.
And that's, Erica, you're gonna handle human
Yep.
services?
Well, a couple
That's
other
all I
things
got.
on NRM. Mary brought up that there's about 100 unrecorded deeds from the 40s that need to be
Oh, yeah. that's right.
researched and recorded.
They were
And we brought those to courthouse, and I think we recommended that we get those done, and that we would absorb that cost through the recorder's office. I don't know. Is that how you
Yeah,
interpret
that's
it?
how I interpret it.
Madam Chair, Commissioner Nelson, what kind of cost you're looking at that?
Well, it's
Just-
work hours.
Just work hours. So.
I don't think there's any cost besides, doing it. I mean, the hours that recorder's office would take to do that. Usually the recorder's office charges a fee to do this. That's how we generate income. But are we going to charge a fee to the auditor's office it's
Okay, so it's hours, okay.
it's time
They're
and
from,
research.
they're from 1941? 40s, yeah.
Commissioner, what would that do? How would that help us now, or it would just clean it up for the future?
Yeah,
or-
it's, Mary, you want to touch on it?
Right now, the recording fees would be about $7,000. Tax forfeited fund pays the recorder. So,
Okay.
but it gets these titles. We're carrying these documents in legal description under one of these parties. Some of these have been sold 10 times since that 1940 deed. It would have cost them $1.25 in the 40s.
Yeah, but they didn't have $1.25.
Okay.
And they were handwritten, and we asked Mary if she had handwritten them, and she said no.
Aren't they currently in they're in like a paper?
Yes, we have,
Yeah.
if we lost them, we'd be in a lot
Yeah.
more concerned.
I agree.
We also, Richard, I think, and Carrie, I know the email was sent to Carrie about there's a meeting dealing with some tribal and DNR people up in Monoman County
Yeah.
that we're invited to, Richard and I. We did, and this has to do with the White Earth Forest agreement that the DNR and
MOU.
tribe signed. There's some, other counties have some concerns, and when we talked with Dusty and Dave at our meeting, I think our relationship has improved drastically, with the tribe, and specifically to these two gentlemen, and I think Jessica comes down once in a while, and Richard Hanks has been at a couple meetings. I think this has helped us. I don't think those other counties have that relationship. I don't think they're building that quite as good as we are right now. And this is part of that. They want to better understand the agreement with the DNR, and I think it will help us understand that agreement, because there are some concerns that have been brought to my attention, and I don't think there's that intent. But I think we need, if you discuss it in a roundtable, I think that helps. So,
Well, I think the newspaper did report that somebody from the tribe did mention that this doesn't include anything with the land transfer. And then there was a comment about that they would still like, but it's not part of this.
right, and I think there was,
The MOU, yep.
and the MOU, and there's just some questions that there was a mention of tax forfeit land in there somehow, and I told the individual, I don't think that they can do that, because that's legislatively, that's, if that changes, that has to come through legislation, so.
Yeah.
And if the land transfer, we'd fight it with,
Yep.
fight at that again, or argue that, so.
I know I did have somebody from Forest Township, a supervisor from Forest Township, reach out to me to see what information I knew about the MOU because they because there's a lot of white earth forest land in Forest Township.
Right.
But, and I
And
don't know a whole much more than what the
What-
newspaper said.
what Dusty and Dave said, it's just putting on paper what they have been doing. I mean,
Yep.
and I trust these guys.
Yep.
And I think our foresters worked well together and
They helped us get that logging done. They helped
Yeah.
us get them that archaeological stuff out of the way. So.
And really, I think
it's been very good. It's been a good thing for us.
Yeah.
So.
And it goes better when we get, when
Yeah.
there's a good relationship between us, so.
Okay, I just want to mention that meeting that Rich and I are going to go, and I assume that's through an NRM meeting, so we don't need to change anything. And
Okay. Okay, I just have Human Services. Richard and I had that. We did, I just wanted to bring to this board's attention, we did review a pricing agreement with Omega Labs. So Human Services had previously had a contract with a third party to complete all their, or to get their hair follicle and drug testing supplies from, and they are no longer doing that. They're going to go directly with Omega Laboratories. And we didn't feel it was necessary to bring to finance and board because there's no dollar amount, there's no contract that you have to buy this much. It's just, this is how much we're going to charge you. So we agreed with it, but we just said we would bring it up in our board report, just to let you know that that's what we're doing.
So is that cheaper than the previous one?
I believe so, because this is where the third party was getting the supplies from, so it kind of takes that middleman out. But one other thing just to note, we did review our year-end budget, and we did come in under budget significantly. So again, kudos to Human Services for always doing a great job with their budgeting. And then just the last thing I wanted to note, in January, they had audit of an exit review based on 64 files that were randomly sampled for their waiver and disability services. And it was in adult services, behavioral health, and public health. And for the first time ever, there was no corrective actions. It was a very positive results. It was also noted by the reviewers that through this audit process, they interviewed the staff as well. And the staff were very positive. They felt supported. They had no issues with the policies and procedures. So kudos to that team, because as you know, Minnesota is in the news for some not great things, especially around that area. So I think it's always great to see that our county is doing such a fabulous job. So that was all I had for Human Services.
Just a quick shout out to Human Services too. I mean, there's a lot of negative press, but I think our staff over there has always been really, really good. So
Yeah.
thank
they
you
do
guys.
very
And we've had over the
Very
years numerous times where we have the highest respect from state. I mean, it seems like the highest respect from state, because
Yep.
we get all the time reports of high standards. So
There's very good leadership over there
Yeah.
throughout the whole thing.
Yep.
It just is, yeah.
one other committee that I haven't touched on was the Buffalo Red Policy Committee. And Richard, if you received some emails, you're on that committee and you weren't on, you missed that.
Yeah, and I didn't know about that.
But anyway, that we approved moving forward with a grant application for our the One Watershed, One Plan. They want a midpoint review of that. So we did move forward with applying for a grant to do that. And the people that do that would be Houston Engineering. The grant is up to $50,000. We approved for the quote was $35,000. And we also had another meeting looking at options for tracking in the future on these to make it better. And there's a couple of things that we looked at, but we did contract with Houston's going to buy this other software, and it's no annual fees. We had two choices, and one had an annual fee to keep updating the software, but it's just an accounting it tracks how much soil and sediment and phosphorus you save, and just kind of tracks all that stuff. So
go to that when my cousin's in for Jay Thomas, because he's got the
someone online is
Talking.
talk.
I know that voice.
I couldn't pick. So we're at 9:00.
Yep. Anything else for reports before we move on to, do we have any appointments? I don't think we do. No appointments? All right, we will move on to human resources then.
You can't get much better than that timing wise.
I know, that's,
Perfect.
doesn't happen very often.
Good morning. I have one item before you all today. So it's an update to the compensation system policy. In the personnel policy, you can go through the updates in the policy, but really what the biggest update is adding in how we will move people into the new grades as we do review and maintenance through DDA, and place them into those new grades and what step they would come in at. My recommendation here is to move them into the new grade with a 1.5%, at least a 1.5% increase, and place them on the next closest step. Tessa is online. Carrie also was here when this all kind of started, so they have a little bit more background information. But the other two attachments do highlight what the changes were for 2026, what their rates would have been had they been moved in at the next closest step, no 1.5% increase, what the 1.5% increase is, and then what they would move in at if they had moved at the current step that they were at from 2025 into 2026. The last attachment there goes over what the cost differences would be. So as you can see, if they move to the next closest step without the 1.5%, there's really not a huge cost savings for the county. It's about $12,000 in this case. But if they moved into the current step from 25 into 26, there is an additional cost of about $48,000 for the county. And this is for 11 positions.
Yeah, we talked about it quite a bit at finance. There was discussion that really advocating for us to do the going into the step that they're in on the above grade. And I just think that we made a decision when we implemented the wage study, a couple years back, to do it this way. And I think we stick to that, in my opinion.
Yeah, it upset people before.
Mm-hmm.
And now if we change it now,
Yes.
it's going to upset people
Yes.
again. So I think that we should be consistent and stay with the way we were doing it. And
Madam Chair, Commissioner Barber, I wasn't here for all this, but I mean, isn't that what you're doing? We are changing something, right? Some of this wording in here?
We are, but not what we did before. So what we're doing, Phil, is doing it just the way we did it before.
Yes.
And if we do anything different, we're going to make everybody angry that was angry before.
Mm-hmm.
And we should we decided to do it that way, and everybody's getting treated pretty good in the county, and to change it now would not be fair, and you're all about being fair, so,
And the reason we went this way to begin with was because of the significant costs that it would have to the county.
Mm-hmm.
So I agree with what Tara has proposed, in that we look at the next closest step that includes a 1.5% increase.
I agree with most of what you guys are saying. And the only reason it was brought to our attention in courthouse, and I thought about it a lot. So let's say they're in a grade 8, for example.
Mm-hmm.
They get a step every time they get an anniversary, they get a step. So that is basically based on how long you've been here.
Mm-hmm.
So now they reevaluate their position, and then they move up a grade, but they don't get that. They don't stay on that same step. Now, I understand why, but I also understand they're saying that, well, why did I lose a year of experience? Because I got because my job got reevaluated and I got put on a new grade, which is what's happening.
And that's what happened.
In their thought process. So I see it as a little different. When we started the whole process, we put them in where they were. When they went into the new, they wouldn't go down, they'd go up, to the next step.
Mm-hmm.
But now this to me is a little bit different, because now we're evaluating their position And now we're staying with the market instead of moving them into a brand new scale.
But they would still remain in the market.
Yes, but I'm just saying.
The market is on the position, not the person.
Yes, I understand that, but the years of experience is not going with the person. That's their argument.
So where I end up, and I'm thinking of a specific situation where we've had this wasn't a county employee, it was an affiliate. When you hire a new person, and I would like to pick examples, but I won't speak specifically, but department heads.
Mm-hmm.
So if we are falling behind the market, now when you have a retirement or someone leaving and they're a department head and you're hiring, will you get that person that you new hire coming in for less or more money than what you're paying the current one? That's where, so you have a department head that leaves for whatever reason, and you hire someone else. Now you're negotiating. Where are you going to be in those lanes? So you have a current one that you're putting in lane 1 or 2, and you have this new person that just comes in, you're trying to recruit them and hire them, and you're going to put them at 5? That's where I'm like, we had someone here that was working their tail off for years, and now we're hiring a new person, and they're making more money than the person that just left. That's where I really find that's where my rub comes. Mm-hmm. And I don't know what to do with it. I would just soon go with this and make it easy and move forward, but that really hurts when you leave a place and they refill your position with someone higher price than what you left. That's where mine is like, oh crud. When you can negotiate those department heads and you to get someone decent.
Madam Chair, Commissioner
That's
Nelson,
where I'm at. So
wouldn't like the longevity things, would those overcome that?
there's hardly any longevity in Becker County right now. What do you have to be for?
It's at the start of 16 years for anyone that was hired after
So if you're
April
starting,
of
you have to work here
2018.
But how many of our
16 years before you.
How many of our department heads have been here? I mean, that changed in 2018.
Correct, yeah.
So
I would say most
So
of
if
the
you were here
majority.
before 2018, you're on the old longevity scale, which
Correct.
means you're
So
getting.
maybe Tesla can just discuss this a little bit and say,
Yeah.
because now that's where I'm at. It's like, I'd love to just slide into this, but if we have to hire someone new and they have to pay them more than what the person just left, that's where I'm like, dang it, that's where I'm like, dang it. That's not fair. That's to me. That's the scenario that comes to me and like, I don't like that. And I've seen it happen. And
I'd also like to point out too, that this is from half of the jobs, not 25% or a third that we would review every year. So this is probably more than it would be on a normal basis.
I will actually add, Madam Chair, if I may, yes, it is from half of the positions, but these were the smaller departments. So here in 2026, we'll be reviewing those larger departments like Human Services, the Sheriff's Department, that have a number of people in positions. So you could be looking at a significant difference if you just regrade one position because there's 20 plus people in just that one position.
Yeah.
So I do agree that we potentially won't have as many that are happening for regrading each year as we do maintenance, but there will be some. And if you do happen to have one in one of those larger departments that have a number of people, the cost could be significant.
I guess my question to Tessa would be, is this something that's normally done, or is it something that you could do with just department heads to review? I mean, a specific group, because that's where kind of my concern is. If it's a position that has numerous, then it's not the same. I don't know. Tessa, maybe help me say what I'm trying to think.
Wow, that's a lot to ask.
I know. I don't know if I have that much time. No.
Yes, you know my brain.
Yes. No, you bring up good points. I mean, I would say so overall, we work with, I think 60 some counties. And I only have one county that actually does it, and I don't remember which one, so I apologize, but I know that they actually do you keep your same step. It's expensive to your point. Most will do what is being proposed. You move them into next step closest to You know, Tara has a 1.5, some will say a 3%, that means you're getting at least a step. Do you know what I mean? So you could change that. So I think that's one like side of this. I think what you're referring to is department heads, because if they're being reclassified and they have to go back and we hire, it's always a rub that somebody will make more than I did when I left and I have all of this experience. I mean, you could have a policy based on leadership pay and that could be addressed that way. The other thing I was just thinking as you were
Rambling?
talking, well, no, talking, just because you know, this is a problem that everyone faces. They feel like they're going backwards and they're really not, because we don't know exactly when part of it is the job description changed too. Do you know what I mean? So have they always been doing those duties? Probably not. But I get their argument that this is where I was, you know, I want to stay there. But as a board, it is a lot of money. But one thing you could do is, if it's based on tenure, your policy could say if you've been with the county at least, you know, let's just say 5, or maybe your magic number is 8 years, then you maintain that step. Do you know what I mean? So you are rewarding for that tenure. And that maybe would help with some of the costs. Sorry, Carrie and Tara, I was just thinking this while we were talking. So if you could kick me, I'm sure you would. But I think to your point,
So
leadership.
You and bean bags.
Yes,
if
exactly.
I may,
Sorry.
we have not talked to Tessa about this. Carrie and I just briefly discussed it. It's a thought, it's an idea. Potentially our non-union employees, because we have the ability to do it, moving to merit-based pay versus, I mean, they would still stay on the scale, like in the range that they're currently in. That wouldn't change. DDA would still review for market, but that could be a potential to reward more on merit versus just on an annual basis. You do get a step. Has not been vetted, but it's an idea as well.
And you could start that. That's a good point. You could start that with leadership pay. Then you can control that where they are and where they move. You don't have as many people in leadership positions. Do you know what I mean? They're usually single incumbent positions. So a reclassification change wouldn't be that much. And leadership pay is sometimes reviewed differently, because if you have a department head that goes, it's probably going to be a statewide search or even a national search. Do you know what I mean? Just for looking for some of the requirements. So that could be something you put into effect also.
I could get behind the leadership. I don't know that I could get behind the non-union, you know, the non-union.
I think the leadership pay is would solve the concern that I have when you
Yeah.
have leadership that has the experience, that's been serving, and now is, you know. So, Madam Chair, maybe we have some more review on this, or see what that leadership would look like and how to incorporate that in the policy. Would that, is that something we would like to review now, or? I know Carrie's in a tough position because
I just don't really feel like I can offer any, because I'm on this list, so I
Yeah,
just don't really
yeah.
feel like I can give you any
So-
input.
So now I got a question for Tiara. Are these people currently moved to their new grade? It was just
Correct.
what step we're gonna put them on. So
Correct.
I just want to make sure they're moved to the grade and because if we put this on hold, I don't want them to not get their grade.
Correct.
Okay.
They did move as of 1/1 of the year with the 1.5%
Okay.
per numerous other discussions, but
Yeah.
it was not in policy previously. So wanting to clean that up and make sure that we have a consistent policy for
So
going
Tiara and
forward.
Tessa, my question would be, so if we pass this today, and then could we bring back and review leadership pay? Would that kind of in a separate or a amended portion to this? Is
I
that?
think we also need to define what is leadership.
Well,
Is
yes,
that
that's-
supervisor?
Absolutely.
Is it department head?
Absolutely, I
Is
agree.
it?
That's where we'd have Tessa and Tiara come back
Yeah,
to,
and I
you know.
think you clearly define what that is, Madam Chair, and that would be part of the policy. And it is not atypical to view leadership pay, and Carrie doesn't have to be in that conversation, but but I think it is viewed different because of a recruiting standpoint. If somebody leaves as a department head, if that's where the level is defined, the recruitment will be a lot bigger scope. So you have to be a little bit easier. And they're coming in with probably more years of experience. Do you know what I'm saying? Because you're not going to have someone that's new, generally. So I think that's a good effort. And then also the people that are currently moving that Tara is bringing forward, remember they're going to get a 1.5% increase with their COLA January 1st, and then on their step they'll move another, or their, I'm sorry, on their anniversary date they'll move another step. So they are moving through the,
Sure.
so.
Yeah, and it won't affect anybody that already had a step because it starts at the beginning of the year, so. Yeah.
Yep.
I would like, I think, move forward with what we have in front of us, make that a motion to approve. With more review with Tessa and Tiara on the
Leadership pay.
leadership grade and where we would set those numbers or how that would look. But I think there's some work there to review. So
Did you make a motion?
motion to approve.
I will second.
All right, I have a motion to approve the compensation policy and a second. Any further discussion?
Yes, Madam Chair, I'm sorry, I'm behind the curve in all this. All you guys are ahead of me, but what is the difference between leadership pay and longevity pay? Or we have to define this leadership pay? Is this going to be something
Longevity-
that's objective or subjective to what Tara, Carrie decides?
I would say Tiara and Tessa and whatever committee we go through will come up with some guidelines and put those in front of you. Longevity pay is available for everyone. Leadership pay obviously would be, that's to be defined, but I would assume more towards your department heads or maybe even if there's a position that's very unique that might have to be nationwide search for something, and I don't know what that would be, but just positions that you would negotiate your salary coming in and at the department head range.
New employees, the longevity policy is different. So
Correct.
that longevity policy changed in 2018.
Yeah, I got it right here.
So if you were hired after 2018,
Yep,
there isn't essentially.
yeah, it's
16
longevity.
years is when it starts.
16 years.
So in addition to salary, we've got overtime pay, we've got break pay, we've got shift hours, working nights and weekends, we've got uniform pay. So this would be in addition to that subset of your regular pay, this would be an
No,
additional thing?
The leadership pay?
Yeah,
No, the leadership pay would just be, and you guys
Or-
correct me if I'm wrong, would just be where we're going to put them on the scale. It's no additional, it's kind of a negotiation for how we would put them
I think
on in the steps.
There may be.
Think of it as a pay philosophy of how you pay leadership and how they move through the scale. They're not getting in addition to pay. All of the pay that you just listed is for non-exempt employees. Leadership pay wouldn't be, and this would be how they move through the step system and or if there's an evaluation.
okay, so they would still fit within this chart.
Yep, exactly.
Yep.
And we would have to define that.
We'd have to define the process of how we put them where we put them.
Yep, exactly.
Madam
Okay.
Chair, Tira, does this ever end? This is like building a plane while it's in the air with passengers. I mean, I thought this was going to be done. You know, you went through this DDA study and here we are. These issues seem to keep floating to the top.
You don't know there's a problem until there's a problem. So I think as things come up, we're going to continue to address them. And I can't tell you how many more problems are going to come up. I think it's a functioning system the way that it is until something comes up and a concern is raised, and then we have to address it.
And this is new to this county.
Correct,
You know,
yes.
we haven't historically worked with DDA to make sure that our pay scale is maintained. So this is new to us.
Right.
This is the first year we've done it, so we address it as it comes.
So Tessa, when you're dealing with other counties, is this a pretty regular occurrence, or is there a time when you kind of level out and things run smoothly, or?
Well, yeah, that's called, the make-believe world. No, I always say that pay is very similar to your pavement improvement plan. Your employees are your organizational infrastructure. Your roads are your exterior, like infrastructure. You're never done with highways. You seal coat them, you crack fill them to maintain them. That's exactly what we're doing with the employees. The difference here is if you say, we're done, we're just going to put it on a shelf and wait, then you have this huge wage gap to make up. What we're doing is we're having these discussions more frequently so you can get annoyed with me more frequently, but we're trying to minimize the budget disruption and or at least address these issues as they come up versus waiting for when we have a recruitment or retention issue or a bigger risk. So it is never done. And it shouldn't be because the market keeps moving. But the thing is, we want it to be as smooth as it can be so you have good, talented employees. But from a fiscal side point, we want to be able to watch where we are and make those minimal changes so we're not having a huge wage gap. So we would rather maintain the road so we don't have a complete reconstruct.
Thanks for dumbing it down for commissioners.
All right, any further discussion before we vote? All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries.
Thank you.
Thanks, Tessa.
Thank you.
Thanks,
Have
Kara.
a good one.
Thank you.
You too.
Becker Bay is on next. Has anyone brought in anything for?
I think we had one commissioner bring something.
Oh, gee, who was that? I don't know.
That's why it fell between my seats. I scratched myself in trying to get it. So that's why
That's why he was late.
well, I was a minute of it anyway. I was 2
Okay.
minutes late.
On to Carrie.
On to me. Thank you, Madam Chair. Just a few updates for you on the 245th Avenue, AKA Landfill Road. I had met with Mr. Skoog, and he is getting quotes for different types of fencing and gating and cameras, so that is all moving forward. I've also had a further discussion with Mr. Jaskins, and the township did pass a resolution with a timeline. I know we originally talked about September. Their resolution had indicated that they would like the gate to be removed by June of 2026. They did pass a resolution with regards to that.
Madam Chair, I did have a secondhand conversation, and I was told that the landowners might prefer just an easement. And I mean, so there's still some area where if the landowner agrees to an easement and the gate and the locked gate at the main road, I think the township kind of insinuated if the landowner's fine with that, that still might be on the table. This is from, I won't say.
Well, I'm not sure which one you talked to, but I talked to the one who's representing the family group, is what he told me.
I think there's numerous family members. I don't think there's agreement there either. So that we're hearing different sides of, or different.
Well, the one that has been talking with the township, that's not on the table at all. And that's what I was told. I haven't talked to all, he just kind of has it's, I can't think of his name now.
Mike
Ingham.
Mike Ingham. He's the one that's been doing all of this with the attorney he's the one who contacted me in the beginning, and he tells me no, so absolutely not, because I've asked him several times to make sure that this is what, so I haven't heard that from him, but.
Have we looked at, I know there's been discussion of possible development. Is that something that it can be developed? Do they know isn't there some zoning that requires a road?
No, if it's a township road, it
It's
would be
fine.
fine for development.
And if it's not, it has to have a 66-foot easement.
Gotcha.
Yeah, and it's not gonna have a 66-foot easement.
No.
We have more properties on driveways and roads there. It can be looked at.
But I think
there can be some housing back
our
there.
goal here is we want to provide, they're going to get the access that I mean, if they wanted a township road, it can be, I mean, I'm fine with it being a township road.
Mm-hmm.
But that township road might go all the way through their property. I mean, it doesn't,
Well, they're talking about closing that south end of that road, and they can do that.
they can do that. But I'm just saying,
What do you
What-
mean they can do that?
They can vacate a road with a public hearing. They can, the
The township
township
can.
can have a
Sorry,
public hearing
okay.
and vacate, and they are.
but what I'm
Sorry,
saying
I
is,
thought you meant the property owner.
No.
we will support either way. I mean, it makes,
Right.
we're going to partner and get this resolved. So if they want to just use an easement for now and come back later, I don't have a problem either way.
I don't have a problem with it, but I haven't, so the one that the township is dealing with Mike.
I'll touch base with you after the meeting.
Yeah, we could, I'd
mean,
love to
just-
see something get worked out. It
That
doesn't,
doesn't cost the county.
yeah, it
a lot
doesn't
of money.
sound like it, and it's not gonna cost us what we were saying.
No, we found out that
It's
it's,
not gonna be that expensive, so
but I mean, we're looking for the solution. We're
definitely.
committed to finding the solution that works for the landowner.
And I think the issue with the fencing is it's not just the cost of it, it's the disruption that it.
operations.
it's
And
of the
I'm gonna tell
operation.
you, I'm not seeing the disruption,
Well, the disruption would be gating our two gates to,
so you don't
Cross
put
through.
two gates.
but
not
the
very
management of
disruptive.
security.
Mhm.
I mean, and I know there's not significant concern there, but you do have to have something there. But, so I mean, we're just committed to figure out what will
Yeah, I
work.
am too, and that's,
And
this is the first I've heard of that, and I've talked to Mike quite a few times now, so.
But if, it depends on who's going to end up with it, of the family, that's the person that's the person that has.
Well,
to-
there's a group of them that are gonna own this. There's a group now, it's
Well,
gonna
there
be a
has to be
smaller
Yeah,
group in the future, and
anyway,
so.
Okay,
So
so
that.
we'll continue moving on, getting the quotes.
Correct. And my conversation with Mr. Jaskins was also if there is a need or if it would be helpful, future meetings could be had between, township, family, and or county to come up with the solution.
Madam Chair, I've had a call in to the township for 2 weeks to go out there and drive around and look at some of that stuff, and I haven't heard back yet. I've called twice, so I mean,
Oh, we looked at it again, Phil, the other day, so, but we've also looked at it several times, and so.
I'd like an
I looked-
invitation to that meeting. to go
Well,
out
I
there.
know you would, but, I didn't know when we were gonna do it. I had some things going on. We wanted to get it done before this meeting. And so we agreed that I had some things going on, and between that, me and Charlie went over there and looked at it. I talked to, Kevin Olson about it also. And Phil, I've put so much time in this already, looking at every way. The only reason I went and looked at it one more time, because I wanted to make sure that what I'm saying is true, and it would be very expensive to go any other way and get those people back to that piece of property. Very, very expensive. And so, I mean, yeah, so we, you could go look at it anytime you want, I mean, it's out there. Everything is there. You and I don't really agree on this particular thing. And so, I don't know, and I didn't want to spend a lot more time on it, to tell you the truth. I went over it one more time, and yeah, and I don't see it, so. That's not a township road to the east side, so that's all, you'd have to get easements all the way from 144 back, and then easement through and build a road, and it would just, I don't see any way that you could afford to do that, but.
So, Madam Chair, the reason I bring that up is just so that it does not go off anybody's radar and to let the board know that, it is still active and out there. I do have an initial meeting scheduled with a representative from M-State tomorrow afternoon to start having conversations about what the process is with regards to the M-State building and what they where they are with their planning and what the actual process is. So I was able to get to it. It took a bit of doing, but I do have a meeting scheduled tomorrow. We had safety committee, and I know this was referenced a little bit with regards to AED machines, and we do have a trainer through Human Services that will be able to provide the AED training and the CPR training in the county. In the future, there'll be a policy coming before to have some discussion about the availability of Narcan. And it's pretty common to have Narcan placed where you have AED machines. Now, that isn't necessarily the only place you have to have it, but so that it's available if somebody is in need of or is having some type of an overdose, so they have access to it. So I would expect that that'll be coming before the board in the near future.
Madam Chair, Carrie, to have Narcan at the AED site, that's a thing now?
Yes.
I mean,
you have to realize
so you're saying we've got, I mean, you're potentially saying that employees could be.
It could be more than just recreational drugs. It could be pain medication you take one too many of. So it doesn't necessarily mean.
When you get prescribed any opioid now, they give you Narcan. I mean, they prescribe you a Narcan or give you Narcan with it. Even if you don't, I mean, it's like, what? Narcan, what's this? You don't even, I mean, first time my father-in-law had back surgery and they gave him Narcan. Like, what the heck you need Narcan for? Well, if you overdose is what you do.
Yeah, and so it's just a life-saving thing, and that's next to the AED because
It's a
that's
mist, right?
life-saving thing. And
I'm sorry?
I was thinking it was
Yes.
that big needle that the old days you had to wrap it in, but it's just
And
a
the
mist
release-
in your nose.
No, it is not that.
And it's not, it doesn't hurt. I mean, there's
yeah,
no,
you can't
you
get
can't
high
overdose
off
on
of
it.
and you can't overdose on it. It's all it does is save lives. That's all it does. And who knows? I don't know if we're thinking our employees, but it may be some.
But the
somebody
light-
in here getting services or something.
The concern that we have is if you have it, you have to monitor it, make sure it's there, and you have to make sure it's within dates, not expired.
Yeah,
So
and-
having it, there's
You-
additional liability in
Right.
ensuring that it's available and it's not.
We did talk about that in safety committee and, with the Good Samaritan laws, et cetera, it's available. But again, that doesn't say that the county can't have additional locations, such as I think the screeners, the sheriff's department, there are other places, but just so there's some access. And that would be maintain our AED machines are going to be and are being maintained by our maintenance department. So it'll just go along with that. And yeah,
So do we have
And
to worry
even
about
if
theft
there's-
of these things?
No, they're
No.
given away everywhere.
you can
Very
get those
good.
for free.
They can't get you high. I think some people think that they're,
No.
But
that's-
They're available,
wasn't
so
what it
people don't,
free.
they
They
are,
are.
everybody can have them
Did not know that.
and families take them home if they have kids
Public health
that
gets 'em
have,
away.
it could just save a life and they do even work, they said at the meeting, even after they're expired. They're just not as effective and we're gonna keep an eye on them to make sure they're not, so.
All right.
Okay, moving on. So internally, and I have referenced this before, getting into compliance with the judicial security that we're required to do to hide home addresses for judges. And so I believe we are at the very kind of final steps of that. We had met, and so I just appreciate the input from the departments that have been affected by this. We wanted to make sure that and Tony was able to build out on our system so that it can be tracked, so we know that the departments that have to actually hide information, so it's not available to the public, they've done their part, and that there's a tracking mechanism in place. So that is at the very tail end.
And we talked about Mary too. She's got to, if there's delinquent taxes on a piece that's not supposed to be listed, how do we
Right.
put that out there? So we didn't think of that. I think Judy's the troublemaker that brought that up. Yeah. Her mind thinks outside, and that's good. Good.
So the legislative conference is at the beginning of March. I think all of you have registered, I think, if I recall. And so my hope would be to put together a legislative priority list for all of us so we are all on the same page and have the information. And Richard, you're going to be the speaker.
Okay. I'm sure I'll get us far.
We will
Wear your three-piece
probably,
suit.
the AMC will probably have
Looks like this.
everything lined up for us to attend with our legislators, so.
Yeah, they'll have it lined up, but in case there's anything specific to us, I
Well-
guess, us meaning Becker County specifically.
After tomorrow, M State, I mean, depending on how that
Yeah,
meeting goes.
that'd be a big one.
That'd be important to just us.
Correct. So, yeah, we do have our overarching priorities as, county, and we belong to EMC, but if there's anything in addition that we want to make sure that we, having the opportunity that we have that information. Or if we have a one-page bullet, I think we've heard from Joy and Kupek that, it is helpful sometimes to have a very quick
Info sheet.
yes, information sheet with bullet points, just very straight to the point, so they have something in hand.
We do have some of those, and we should have them because the next meeting is when we'll be departing after our next meeting. So we should have that in hand by next meeting. Tanya has something for elections too that would be appropriate. It's a small thing, but yes.
I think we'll have that, Carrie's pulling all this together for one page.
Yep. But if you do have things that you would like, please feel free to let me know that, and I'll make sure that we
I'll
try
send
to
you
get
the
that.
email that I got from Dave Graham that Human Services had mentioned, something that they wanted us to bring up.
Yes,
I'll
I
forward
do,
that to
I
you.
do remember them, yep. This has been referenced already, but work has been done, and there's a policy written on the email retention. I did get some input from department heads, the last department head meeting. Again, it's a difficult task with a county that's never had any kind of retention policy, and they're used to, saving anything and everything. So we will be, and I'll be working with probably mostly Judy with regards to this. What we've talked about is kind of starting in a step process, probably, giving warning that, okay, summer, start going through things, and then probably not fully, probably rolling this out until the beginning of 2027. So we'll take 26 to kind of do it in increments. And then having people, again, there are some people that have, thousands and thousands of emails that they're going to want to go through and not use it like it's been used, and space-wise and all those other things, with the idea then come 2027, then you start rolling backwards, perhaps you from the oldest and then rolling it out.
Will this also include Teams chats?
Did we talk about Teams chat?
Yeah, it might be something
To include in the retention?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that's a good idea. I was going to say, I don't remember us talking about.
You mean the Teams meetings, the Zoom meetings that are public?
Nope, chat, like you,
Like when you're chatting.
like
in a
I'm going to
Teams meeting?
chat Judy because I want her to do something.
Oh.
So that
So it's
chat
not
will
maintained
stay
forever.
there as of
Forever.
right now, forever.
Yep.
So I think we probably should, and that I think should be significantly less than emails,
I would think so.
which again is going to be a change for employees, that if I'm communicating with somebody in chat, that it might not be there next week. So make sure that we're documenting that somewhere else, but.
Yeah, so more work to come, but it is moving forward. Also during the department head meeting, we did have representatives from the sheriff's department. They came in and spoke to the department heads briefly with regards to ALICE training. What that is active shooter training. There hasn't been anything done, and I hate to even think that we need to do that, but obviously we have to have that on our radar with everything that's kind of just happened in general. So there are, I can't remember, it's 3 or 4 individuals in the sheriff's department that are being trained, getting trained. So in the future, we'll be looking at training in different, so they'll be looking at rolling that out within the county. I don't know a timeline on that, but it was, I think, well received by the departments, and I think they understand the need for having to look at that. Last on my report, I was asked end of March, I'll be speaking at the Economic Summit that's hosted here locally. So I will do that again. I was hoping I did a terrible job the last time, so maybe I wouldn't be asked.
Nope.
But I guess I'm going back to that, so. Becker Bay, we've already referenced that a little bit. We did, we have one right on top of that, so that is coming up. So will be our Peggy and, is it Nikki? Oh, Nikki.
If someone had access to like Super Bowl tickets, if they had some ins with NFL, could they put
Oh.
those on there?
They could.
Okay.
Could was the key word.
So Becker Bay, our annual Becker Bay auction, we usually do quite well on this. It gets fairly competitive, and I have known people from out of state that have been bidding while they're sitting at the airport. I won't mention any names.
But we won.
So it's a fun endeavor with the money donations going to the local food pantry. The next agenda item is, we did have some discussion, I don't recall, probably in more than one committee, with hoping that in the very near future, we'll be looking at doing negotiations with our union contracts. Those expire at the end of the year, and I know Tiara and myself, when we've had opportunities with business agents, kind of putting out the plug there that we, would like to start sooner than later so we can budget appropriately for whatever that's going to look like, which then prompted the next conversation about we historically have had 2 commissioners on that negotiation team. It has just kind of fallen with the chair and vice chair, but then as we had some further discussion, I think it must have been during our work session. So I was asked to bring it as an agenda item here. I don't think we ever came to any consensus, so I am bringing it up here for discussion.
So basically which one of you two wants to be on?
Yeah, it went to chair and vice chair just because that
they
is
were
what,
chair and vice
who
chair.
were the two.
Historically, it has.
It
been.
has
No,
not
not
historically been
historically,
chair and
Oh,
vice.
it hasn't been historical.
It just,
Oh.
that year it was the chair and vice chair.
Oh, okay. I was
That's
thinking it
how
was, okay, so I
Yeah, it just happened to
misspoke.
be that year.
Got it.
But
So-
did either one of you decide what you want to do?
Well, so
I'm out.
Erica's not on it,
Mm-hmm.
so it's Dave and,
Richard, you didn't want, did you?
Well, I don't want to, but we'll see what you guys decide. I'm not saying I won't do it.
I don't, I would do it, or if you want to do it, it's up.
I think for you, Richard, it was it's a
Well,
lot of.
It is,
It takes
I
a lot of time. And
if you
I'm
haven't done
not
it, I
sure
will
of the
say
time,
it
but-
can potentially
take-
be a
you
lot
said
of
you-
hours. It can be a lot of hours. So just keeping that on there. When we do meet, usually we schedule, what we have done in the past is half days at a time. Sometimes we have one or do full days, half day and half day. And then depending on how the whole process progresses, there have been times where we're scheduled full days at a time and into the evening. So I just want that on
And
your
then there are
radar.
sometimes when it's 10 minutes.
Yeah, well, I
Not
could
very
say, I
often.
should have said that first.
So we have Dave. Do we want to draw straws? Name it if I had. Or anybody want
Or is it-
to?
In our work session, we
Volunteer.
came back to Barry or I
Yeah.
with Dave.
Yeah.
And I defer to Barry. I mean, you can decide if you,
Well, I will do it. If,
So I'll make a motion to appoint Commissioner Nelson to the negotiating committee.
And yourself?
And well, I'm already on it. And myself.
Oh.
Okay.
Do we have a second for Commissioner Meyer and Commissioner Nelson on the negotiating committee?
I'll second that.
Madam Chair, and then if we are not available, any other commissioners?
Yes.
Is that acceptable? If we
Yes.
can't make a meeting that any other commissioner can sit in for?
Yep,
For us?
Yes.
absolutely.
If that's motion making.
Okay, we have a motion and a second. Any further discussion? All those in favor of Commissioner Nelson and Meyer signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed?
Aye.
Motion carries.
Thank you. As we unions start reaching out, I have been kind of on the forefront of getting things scheduled, so we'll see. Again, we're hoping to start sooner than later. The next item on the agenda is the fleet policy, county car usage. This came about at the request of the board to add in some discretionary language if there's a need that warrants take home of a fleet vehicle. It would be probably minimal if there's a training or if it makes sense that the individual is perhaps leaving very early in the morning or the location training, et cetera, work is closer to their residence versus coming back into Detroit Lakes. And so we did talk about this at courthouse, and this is the policy before you that I would ask for a motion for consideration.
Madam Chair, I'll make a motion to approve the Becker County Fleet Policy Use.
All right, I have a motion. Do I have a second?
I'll second.
All right, any further discussion? All those in favor signify by saying aye.
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 Opposed? Motion carries.
The last item is, this is just for your information. This is regarding the blight properties that we've talked about several times. And the policy, I'm calling it a policy, but it's probably, policy maybe isn't the right word. I'm not necessarily asking for approval. This is just really a workflow and a way to capture how we address these properties that come to the attention of the committee that has formed. And then there was also a checklist, and we've talked about record keeping. It serves a few purposes. Obviously, you can't necessarily have a blanket policy of how you're going to deal with every situation, but at least you can have some parameters and guidelines of how to begin conversations and then track conversations about what's been tried, what hasn't worked, what has worked. I'll go with what has worked. And then it's also documentation that if you're trying to address some of these blighted properties informally, you have some documentation of things that have perhaps been facilitated or tried through the committee level. And then if it needs to go to the next level for the county attorney, then the documentation is there. So this is just really for capturing the information that we've come up with during the committee. So is there any questions on this? I felt like it was fairly straightforward.
So Madam Chair, where are we at then? Are we ready to move forward or? So
We have started, yeah.
Okay.
Okay.
My report, I did not, I was going to ask the question before you move on to the next item, sorry.
That's okay.
We had talked about in our last work session, potentially, if I recall, another work session to, again, pick up our capital budgeting, to start talking about money, basically, money and policy and bringing and formalizing some of those things. Are we thinking that we want to do that in March, or are we not? I don't know that we actually just.
I don't remember what we decided.
I can't remember
We were
either.
to
That's
do
why
it
I'm
in
asking
March
the
or
question.
I thought we were looking at doing it quarterly.
We talked about a couple different,
When necessary, and then you suggested quarterly, but.
and I don't think we ever really
Decided?
decided, is what I remember. Or don't remember. Maybe I don't remember.
I would just say when you're ready to move it forward or have questions, I mean, put a few things. I think that work session was really, I think it was good, a good work session. I think an informal work session where we can get off topic and just chat. I mean, personally, you know, you
I
get to
tried to
know.
keep you on task.
No, but you get to know,
Barry likes to talk.
you get to know people's
Yeah. I thought it
personally
was
rather than.
I thought it was
professionally.
helpful, but I also felt like we had some good conversations, and I just don't want them to be put in a folder and not discuss them. So that's why I'm asking the question, to try to move them.
I'd say when you're ready and
Madam
coordinate
Chair,
a date.
could we do something in March? Richard, you get busy in April, right?
Well,
Or
May.
Before
I
that?
can schedule something in March if that's.
Well, March,
Or April. Let's do April.
You want to do April? Okay.
But I don't have a date that I could do it. Are we looking for a date right now?
I can give some suggestions.
April
I know
14th.
it typically has worked for us to do it.
April
We have
14th.
NRM.
Give it interim.
I mean, we can move.
we did it the day after our
We do.
board meeting
We do.
last month,
13th.
didn't we? So that would be the 8th,
We do that.
is a Wednesday.
April 8th? Is that what we're looking? Or-
Just throwing it out there.
Oh, I'm not here apparently. Peggy says,
You're in the afternoon, you're here in the morning.
oh,
Human
I'm here in
Services.
the morning, I guess.
Human Services.
Human Services is in the morning.
Oh, yeah, we have human services.
9th?
It's a Thursday.
April 9th.
I would have to do afternoon.
I haven't gone all day.
That would help.
Yeah, you go faster.
We could do it on the off Tuesday,
We'd just
14th.
reschedule
the
NRM.
14th.
That's
We have NRM.
NRM, but
But we could just do it afterwards.
You have NRM
NRM,
at 8:30?
yeah.
take an hour and do it at 9:30.
9:30. Okay.
So start at 9:30 on
And I'm sorry, what was the date, Barry?
the 14th?
14th?
The 14th, we have NRM at, and Steve, you might want to schedule it, if we don't have much on the agenda, just 8:30 for an hour, but we usually can get through it in an hour and a half, so.
So 10 o'clock.
10?
Well, just do 9:30 if we have, I don't know that there's much on the agenda coming up.
9:30, April 14th,
I'm
then?
having
Yep.
Peggy send out a calendar invite as we're talking here for that
All right.
day.
I still don't get those on my calendar,
Really?
but I haven't fixed it, so.
So, and anything else for me? If not, that's all I have.
Okay,
Can
we will,
we take a break?
yes, we can take a break. We're
Let's
going to
do-
take a
let's
5-minute
do-
break.
Let's do, Brent's been sitting
You
here.
wanna do- let's do
Let's
Brent
do
first,
Brent.
yeah.
He's one,
Yeah.
he's
You got one.
He's
quick
got a
one.
portable heater policy.
Yeah.
Well, good morning.
Good morning, Brent.
Morning.
I have a facilities policy that I'd like you to consider prohibiting personal heating units for self-explanatory. I know in the past, it's kind of been a gray area. We kind of define it a little bit more in this policy. The obvious, fire hazards, electrical hazards and all that is what I'm concerned with. Along with always seem to plug them into power strips, which is in addition another hazard. So I know we vetted this through our safety committee with approval through there. It's been through the courthouse too to bring it to here. So I thought we should put something down. All the facilities I've ever worked at, we've had something on the books that kind of define it. It doesn't necessarily eliminate all personal heaters. We're defining some exceptions there too, but the ones that are probably available, they don't heat well. They're just infrared. But again, fire hazard, electrical hazard. I guarantee our insurance carrier would like to see something like this in the books too.
Madam Chair, Brent, is this an issue in all of our buildings, or
Yes,
who's going to police this?
it's defined in here.
Responsibility,
pretty much
but
facilities. And then also, we do have some wording in there about supervisors too. I will say, congrats to Denise from Human Services. She got ahead of this. And she found a lot of personal ones that were over there as we were discussing this through the month. So I pulled a lot of them out of there.
And we also talked at courthouse that if there's an issue why they need a heater, then we got to address that.
Right, that's what
Yeah.
we did talk about that at our last safety meeting, that, because there are some people who are cold,
Yeah.
and that's why they're using them. And so, hopefully you can find some way to, it is 2026, we should be able to keep people warm. And so that, we should be able to, and I realize this is an old building, but we should be able to come up with something there.
Well, and even in our newer buildings.
Yeah.
There's some areas that just from engineering purpose, it's just didn't pan out. So we do have, supplemental. I do have, since you're talking about capital improvements, I've had this on my list for improving certain areas. There's certain things we can do that aren't portable heaters. There's, the heat panels we can put up, we can put in exterior units that are with our own system. Cost money.
Capital improvement.
Yeah.
So-
Again, I've had that on there for a while.
so Brent, the people will still be allowed to use the heaters, but they have to be UL listed. There's criteria. If they tip over, they have to
Correct.
shut off, all those things. So, okay.
I think in the past, maintenance facilities, people would pass them up. Now, I was actually in here yesterday, we were doing some lighting projects, and I was looking under there's a lot of them, and some that would be an electrical hazard or a fire hazard, that we will speak with the people. Again, we have a new highway, some areas there, and again, people sitting at their desks, it's a cold area underneath, we're getting air blowing in from the top, so we recognize that there's probably a need for it. My ultimate goal is that we don't need them at all.
Mhm.
But again, you just gotta work for it. And I think having a policy on the books that explains it a little bit better, is very helpful.
All right.
Candles are still all right.
Yeah, yeah,
Candles.
they're frowned upon.
Okay.
All right, do I have a motion?
I'll make a motion to approve the portable heater policy.
All right, I have a motion by Dave. Do I have a second?
I'll second.
All right, second by Richard. Any further discussion? All those in favor, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried. Thank you.
I do recognize though the significance of this as a husband that has a wife that's cold all the time. This is significant. So we have to
We will start with Judy.
Good morning.
Morning.
Good morning, Chairwoman Jepson and Commissioners. What I'm bringing forward today is the computer order for 2026. It's for all the laptops and desktops, and we're bringing it about a month early because there's a large increase coming from almost all the vendors out there we're kind of setting on 20% change because that's what our vendors told us. And what we're looking at is some docking stations for some of the new laptops and for replacements. We're looking at about 20 desktops, then 4 desktops that are a little bit more expensive for dispatch. They have more memory. We have 11 new laptops, and those are just the standard replacement laptops. And we have 1 IT laptop that's a little bit more expensive, and that's again additional memory. So the refresh for 2026, the total refresh is $50,485, and it is within budget.
What was it? Well, I can't remember exactly. We were talking about something at the committee level about extending it to 5-year cycle.
Oh,
You said something. You said something
let's
about-
get this on the record. I said,
Yeah.
I said you were right.
Oh.
That I was wrong
Oh.
when I said we should do it for 3 years. I said, no, you were right. It's been working out great.
Just couldn't
So.
get that. I had to keep that in the committee. Couldn't just keep it in the committee.
So we had to get it on record. Barry was right?
Yes, we did. Yes,
We
Barry
don't
was
think we'll
right.
do that, Judy.
Hey,
So we are at a 5-year
Rotation,
for computers.
yes.
I guess when you're late to a meeting, you have to make up for it somehow.
Mm-hmm.
Right?
Madam Chair, Judy, could you tell me what a dollar amount of our IT, just in computers, things like this right here that the county has? Like, what is our inventory? Obviously, it's depreciated, but
Yeah.
like, are we talking $5 million worth?
Oh,
This is 20%.
no, I would say no.
This is 20% of your.
This is about
computers.
20%. So if you multiply that, well, it's a couple hundred.
250.
50,000?
Yeah, I'd say that's, and then.
That's
This is
not
for.
that's not
Just
server.
for our own personal devices, the one everybody uses
This.
at their desk. Yes, it would include those.
Laptop.
I'd say about that. And then we have servers, which is another 100,000. Then we have all the software, which is, it's all done as a software
Maintenance.
service. But I can certainly create that spreadsheet. I have all.
Well, I mean, we have
information.
330, 340 employees.
Yeah.
Does every employee
Well,
have?
the sheriff's department, some people have 2 because they have one in their squad and one at their desk. So it's a little different than that. But it's about 1 for 1.
So when you take that old one out and refurbish or whatever, do you or your staff actually put that in, or is that done?
No, we put them in. We have a deployment tool that we use, and it is run by one of our IT analysts. And then we bring them. We sometimes ask them to pick them up if it's a laptop. If not, we normally bring them we bring the desktop there and put them in. So.
Okay.
All right.
I'll make a motion to approve
Second.
Okay, easy.
All right, I have a motion. I have a second. Any further discussion? All those in favor signify by saying aye.
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 Opposed? Motion carries.
Thank you very much.
Thank you, Judy.
Thanks, Judy.
Next time, forget when Barry's right. Just forget about it.
It was
No need to bring it up again.
She said it in courthouse too.
100% right. I
She
think
said
she
100% right, yeah.
Okay, next, Veteran Services.
I don't know if you want these, this is just a full deal.
Thank you.
And I'll give you one later, Carrie. You saw it in the.
Yep, no, you're good.
No, so,
Anthony Maston, Veteran Service Officer. We have an opportunity for an intern that had asked to serve in our office. It wasn't something I was looking for or trying to find. It was, I got a call from Yellow Ribbon Coordinator out of Norfolk State. And he had asked if I would like an intern so she can finish her degree. And it's at no cost to the county. It's something that they have a grant for, that they can pay up to 480 hours of work for the intern. So the intern will be paid by the Moorhead State, and that includes work comp and all the benefits that go along with that. So there, when we talk about it, it's, I'm looking at, I would like to support the internship opportunity within our Veteran Service Office. It offers a meaningful hands-on experience in assisting veterans and their families while enhancing the services we provide in our community. The intent is working through the Minnesota State University under the Yellow Ribbon Advanced Program. And we talked a little bit about they do provide up to 480 hours. It's a grant. And the intern would do daily operations. It also invests in developing our future professionals dedicated to the veteran advocacy and also gain valuable insight in our office workflow demands. This opportunity also allows the Veteran Service Office to consider a third person down the road. Like, you know, if we feel the need, this gives us an opportunity to see if a third person would be beneficial in our office in assisting veterans and the community. So I just think it reflects the commitment to our continuous improvement, and it just helps the veterans receive timely, high-quality support. And then, so what I provided for you was a non-disclosure agreement on the second page, and that's just through the Veterans Office, because they would be dealing with HIPAA, medical records, personal information, social security number, and so they would have to sign a non-disclosure that they can't discuss any of this information. And then I worked it out with Terry and Judy. There is a computer that they would be eligible to use or able to use to utilize some of our programs in working with the veterans and assisting scheduling appointments, listening in on the interviews. And then there is a Becker County intern policy that was provided by Denise, what they use over at Human Services, and so we just kind of copied that instead of reading the wheel. This is provided by Terry.
That's a countywide policy.
It's a countywide policy.
Yes, it is. And so, like I said, it's no cost to, also in that packet is actual agreement from the Moorhead State University of what she can and can't do. So hopefully this is something that you guys would consider allowing. Like I said, it's no cost to us. I think it'd be a great benefit to bring in an intern and help somebody, you know, finish their degree, and in response, you know, it could help us in the veteran that I think.
Madam Chair, Anthony, is this a one-year thing? Is it, will it be recurring, or could it be recurring? Or?
No. So the intern, they would like her to get as many hours in. She graduates in May. But the grant is to pay up to 480 hours. So I'm guessing she could stay maybe to July or August. That'd be about it. It is not a long-term thing. It's just a 480-hour grant. They would like us to utilize those 480 hours, and then she's done with that process. And then her goal is to work with the Veteran Service Office in a Secretary of State or as a, you know, an assistant VSO somewhere in the state or county or wherever. It is not a guarantee for employment by us at all. It is an opportunity for her to succeed her degree requirements. She is a widow of a veteran. He passed away in 2020. And she's familiar with the veteran program and how it helped her husband through the process before he died. And she wants to continue helping other veterans.
Is this, so I took my internship at Becker County, so I'm a little familiar with internships, and also know that taking on an intern can also mean additional work for those in the office. So because it is a learning experience, I'm 100% supportive of it. I just wanted to make sure that it could be additional work. So yes, because it is teaching.
Yes, and myself and my assistant, we've discussed it in length, that it could be a little extra work on our behalf.
Mm-hmm.
But we feel, we just feel it's like a good opportunity to at least try one
Yep.
intern and see how it goes.
Yeah, yeah.
Madam Chair, I think we discussed this too at courthouse, and
Yep.
and Anthony was well aware of that. If you get a good internship, it will be beneficial.
Yeah.
Greatly
Less work,
beneficial. And you can give them projects they take off on
Mm-hmm.
their own. I'm sure in your case, it wasn't as good as experience, but I'm
I
sure-
actually think I did pretty darn good, thank you. They hired me.
Well,
Hopefully,
he's got you two now. You
hopefully,
got a couple left.
hopefully this will be a great opportunity. But I think it also, I think it shows, especially in veteran services, we want what's best and get education for those that are going to be helping veterans too. And it's a great service that you're providing,
Yep.
and thank you for doing this. Hopefully it works. A great process. And Tony said they have some projects that could be tasked with, and hopefully we can get some of those documents done. So.
And if it is a good experience, it is, I know at Human Services, they, typically have ones. I don't know if they still do. We used to have one every semester, but just something for you to consider.
That is something that we discussed is possibly a shared intern.
Mm-hmm.
If we run out of things to do,
Mm-hmm.
that she could meander over to the human services side of the house.
Yep.
Because that lines up with her degree, and she came in last Friday, the director of the Morehead State, and her came in, met me Friday, and she'd be willing to go to the human services if we have lack of work for her to do
Mm-hmm.
at times.
Okay.
I'll make a motion to approve the intern placement in the Veteran Services Office.
All right, I have a motion. Do we have a second?
Second.
All right, any further discussion? All those in favor signify by saying aye.
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 Opposed? Motion carried.
Thanks,
Thank you.
Tony.
Thank you, Anthony.
Hi, Steve.
Did you figure out what I said?
did. I think I got it.
Okay.
Morning, Madam Chair, board members.
Morning, Steve.
Today we're here to ask for permission to dispose of to sell off a house that's located on a tax forfeited property up on Sugar Bush Road. It's a cabin that was partially constructed, but was never finished. It's been years. And we'll be able to advertise that and see if we can sell it. If we're successful in getting a bid for it.
Steve, is your mic on?
There, sorry
There we
about that. If we're successful in getting bids where we can get it moved off there, then the county would be responsible for getting rid of the concrete basement and maybe the sewer will.
It says in here still, all buildings materials. Does that include the concrete walls? I mean, I think we did,
The intent was to,
because we felt that depending upon, we can do that ourselves, the concrete walls, and might get us a more favorable.
That's the basement, the
The
foundation, right? I
foundation,
mean, it
not
doesn't
the
have
whole.
concrete. It's got the wood walls, right?
Correct.
Basement's got concrete in
it's
it.
port.
Right.
Concrete walls in the basement.
So we're not asking them to remove the concrete walls. But I
You
think
just said that, yeah.
it's not clear in here is what I'm saying.
Oh, okay. All right.
It says all debris.
All building materials and debris,
So it's
excluding the concrete.
We'll clarify that with each.
because if,
Yeah.
it would take more equipment it would take
Yep.
a different type of equipment rather than just, we have the equipment and basically you're just gonna probably knock them in and fill it.
Mhm.
So we can,
That's correct.
but this is in no way saying, and we can reject all bids. I'm assuming that's in here.
Yes.
Just make sure that the county
reserves.
county commission board may reject any and all bids.
Yep.
So our final decision does have to be now, but if we get high bids, $100, we'll probably not take it. I don't, we'll have to review it and see.
Mm-hmm.
With those, I will make a motion to moving forward and with the sale and removal of the cabin.
I'll second it. Or Richard.
All right, I have a motion and a second. Any further discussion? All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried.
Thank you.
Thanks, Steve.
Thanks, Steve.
All right, we'll move on to Kyle with a request for an extension.
Good morning.
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 Mr. Eric Zern here, requesting an extension for permit 694215, which was for a feedlot in Spring Creek Township. Commissioner Nelson, I did go look right after you just mentioned that question. There's no limitation on extension requests per se. However, the ordinance does say a request for 1-year extension. But he's able to ask for as many of those as he would like, and you're able to grant as many as you would like.
Because didn't we gave it 2-year last time, didn't we?
We did, and I'm guessing we probably assumed we could do that.
Okay.
Because they are good for 2 years once implemented, but
Okay.
I just went and reread this and.
Madam Chair, I'll make a motion to approve the extension for 1 year.
I'll second.
All right, I have a motion and a second. Any further discussion? All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried.
Sweet.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thanks.
That was easy.
That was easy.
That was easy.
Way easier than the first time.
Let's not go there, right?
Oh, got that one.
All right. Then
Uh,
we just have a commission appointment discussion.
So we brought this to courthouse in the zoning ordinance right now, under the planning commission requirements. 1/3 of the members are supposed to be appointed annually. So we discussed, how we could accomplish that if we were going to have some of you appoint members for 2 years, 3 years, or 4 years. I went and looked at the statute, and there's no provision in there requiring that 1/3 annually provision, and it's not in the Board of Adjustments, so my request would be to eliminate that 1/3 deal.
Is it in our zoning?
It's in our zoning ordinance, but
Okay.
it's not a statute requirement. All the statute says is that your ordinance shall establish basically when and how people are appointed and whatnot. Basically, all the statute says is up to 11 members, and that's really it in terms of the makeup of the board itself. There's a couple other provisions about people making money off of land and things of that nature, but it's just something I think should probably just go away. And then that wouldn't,
We would have to amend our ordinance then.
yes,
We'd have to state how we're going to do it.
right.
However we do. But one of the big, in my opinion, reviewing these names and the terms, they're scattered for the months. I mean, it's terrible. How would you track that? So I think that's the biggest thing. Get them all on a calendar year and serve that calendar year.
Right.
Because, I mean, there was one in July, March, April. It's like, geez, they just got to be the same. So
Are we
you
talking
can
about
review.
just the Board of Adjustments?
Both. So, and what was probably happening there is someone was resigning or moved out of district, whatever, and they,
Instead of fulfilling the term,
Yeah.
stating fulfilling the term, you gave them a
We just
3-year
appointed
term.
them.
so we can clean that up. I can bring back a resolution and have them all terminate end of December.
December 31st.
Yes,
Or December 30th, depending upon the year.
right. He said that joke.
He said
You would
that.
say
He's
they
brought that
all
joke up
expire
before.
At the same time? Don't we want
Not all of
staged?
them.
You want them staggered on a yearly, you don't want them all at the same year, but you want them all to come due at the end of the year, whichever year that
Oh, I
is.
got you.
If it's at the end of 26, 27, 28, so they staggered yearly, but you want them all to come at the same,
Yeah, this is February 26, March
Yeah.
27, January 26, July 27, January 27,
there's
September
a July,
25.
yeah, so you just want them all, so
Same
they're
month.
easier to track, so you
Same
know.
month, different years.
So Kyle every year knows, all right, December, we got to renew or appoint all the members for this term, this next one, so.
So, and then we just also discussed, moving forward, we'll publish every position, whether it's expiring or somebody has resigned or what have you. We'll just put it on the website. We'll also obviously give you a heads up, each one of you, whoever has a vacancy. But, so right now, those ones are published as of last Friday. So,
Which ones?
there's quite a few.
There's a bunch.
All of them?
The ones that are expiring in February and January, right? There's a bunch of them.
Madam Chair, Kyle, when is the time? Would you do this like Barry said, in December, like when things are slowest?
We would want
or-
them appointed in December. You'd advertise it maybe in November, end
Yeah.
of November, so the 30-day notice. And
So the Board of Adjustments and the Planning and Zoning, they'd all be done at the same time of year?
Right.
Yeah, okay.
But before, sometimes we were publishing, sometimes the
Yeah.
commissioner was just running into somebody in the grocery store, getting the yay or nay and appointing them. We just talked about at courthouse that we'll just publish every one of them, so people have a fair chance to apply.
And you may take the incumbent and you may not.
Right.
Okay.
And just one other thing I never thought about, I think previously it was always 3-year terms. You can go up to 4 years, but nothing says you can't go to 1 either. Let's say you want to try out a member and you don't want to appoint them for 4 years. You could do 1 year, and it's just something to think about.
What's
Do
your
we have-
recommendation?
I mean,
3 years
the
right?
longer the terms is better for us because we're not doing it, but I'm
Well,
okay
it's a
with-
learning curve, right?
Right.
Yes, very much so.
Mhm.
No.
So I would prefer having a longer term. If we're gonna have a circumstance where there would be a shorter term, I think we need to define why we would have a shorter term in our ordinance.
I think
Yeah.
as we move forward, I think there might be some shorter term. You don't want a big group coming due 1 year. So I mean, I think we want to stagger them for 3-year terms, my opinion. We should try to shoot for a 3-year term.
Yeah.
But there might be some cases where,
In
we
order
want to
balance
be
it out,
about,
have to
we
do
want to
two.
fairly balanced annually coming up.
So Kyle, just for clarity, if someone resigns midterm or moves out of district or whatever, is that appointed then, or would we have to run to fill that?
No, it'd be
For
the
the
same
rest
as
of
what
that
we're
term?
doing.
It's all appointed now.
They're all appointed.
Yep, you just appoint. We would advertise it at that point.
But it would be just for to finishing up that
Yep.
person's
Yes.
term, then they could run, okay.
Yep, just do the remainder.
Okay.
So if that's all acceptable, I'll bring something, I'll have to amend that ordinance that takes a public hearing. But if you just want to consider appointments for, I sent you a list, I'll send it again right now, so you have it updated. If you want to reach out to your current people or,
And one thing that I noticed, I don't like Board of Adjustments and Planning and Zoning, same members. I mean, there's one overlap that serves on Planning and Zoning from Board of Adjustments, but I see there's 2 members then are on both, and that, in my opinion, I prefer that. I prefer not having.
I don't have a problem with that. It's
I'm
hard
just
to
letting-
find people sometimes to do this.
It is.
And it's always at night.
And this,
And I-
this of all the committees, I would say is probably,
Yeah, and if I
The
can find
most
somebody that'll do
controversial.
both and they're qualified, I don't know why we wouldn't. I don't see a conflict, but I don't, so I'm not maybe seeing it the way you are, but.
It's just, like I said, it's just my opinion.
okay, any further discussion?
no, so we'll just have at your first March meeting, anticipation that a lot of these will be filled.
Okay,
The only other discussion that we had earlier this year was eliminate Planning and Zoning and use the county board as a Planning and Zoning board, have that meeting Tuesday night, one night. It's basically for 2 of us, it's nothing more. 2 of you, and the rest of us, it's 1 meeting and 1 viewing more.
Well, but it's also, there's a lot of legwork there, and I don't know, we have pretty good people on there. I don't have a problem with them doing it.
I don't have a problem. It's a recommendation board, and in the difficult ones, we have to get involved anyway.
I think when we, for planning and zoning, when we go to planning and zoning, then it comes to us and we review it and then we micromanage it. It seems like we're doing it twice. I've seen that.
At the end of the day,
We either trust
at
them.
the end of the day, we're the elected official. At the end of the day, we are the ones that have to make that decision.
We
And
do, but we also have some very I'm looking at the people that are on there. We have very
they're good people.
qualified people who give up their time and do it, and they do a good job of it. They go to the sites and look at them. And I appreciate having them do this job myself. Makes it a lot easier for me to make that decision, so.
maybe when we get to the point where we can't get people to serve, maybe then it would be a time to. for
I've
us to do
always
it
supported the
ourselves.
county board do it. I mean, I'm in the, and I don't have a problem not continuing as we are, but at the end of the day, I take the responsibility. It's my decision at the end of the day. I can listen to that recommendation or I cannot. I mean, with
Yep.
my own knowledge.
And I
And
agree with that.
Then why don't you go out and do it yourself beforehand? And I see your
on
point.
the difficult ones, I do a lot of legwork. So,
And I do too.
And the difficult ones I go.
so I mean, it's,
Well, the easy ones aren't an issue.
Yeah.
oh.
No, they're not.
right. So I mean, there's,
I mean, you're making your point. I mean,
I'm,
Okay, any further discussion?
I did want to bring up just one more thing. So I did start to go out, going back to easy ones and hard ones. We hear a lot of opposition up front, but I've started that process of CUP inspections, and I gotta say, people are on their A game. And a lot of those things that are brought up never come to fruition. I mean, there's a junkyard in your district north of Osage.
Oh, yeah.
No, it
The one,
looks,
the new one?
it's the nicest business we have in the county. And it looks
it's not
better
a
than,
junkyard then.
well, a salvage yard, yeah. It looks better than Menards. It does, I shouldn't pick on Menards itself, but I mean, it just is well manicured. Have you seen the one I'm talking about?
I know which one you're talking about, but I have not
do.
seen it. Mhm.
I remember when we,
so Kyle, your point with that?
I'm just, just to follow up, because I mean, it was something that a lot of discussion in the past few months about doing those inspections, but then also, I mean, a lot of these ones that we had so much opposition to, it's just non-existent. I mean, how the
often.
businesses ran.
Mhm.
I mean, again, I went out to that campground on Toad Lake. That's
What's the one up
immaculate.
north that we had a lot of controversy on, that big one? It's Jolly.
yeah, next to Jolly. Elbow.
Black
Elbow.
Bear, that one, Black Bear Hollow.
Yeah.
I have been in that one too. That is very well developed.
I think the definition of very well developed and violations can be the same. I mean,
Well, I
there
shouldn't-
can be violations and it look wonderful if it's not within what's allowed to. I mean, I have no idea I'm not speaking of any case that I'm aware of, but just because it looks good doesn't mean it's within the rules that it.
No, and when I mean very well developed, I mean it's screened well. It's all planted in grass seed. There's no erosion. I mean,
Yeah, there's some conditions on some of these that are going to be almost impossible for us to make sure that there's not a violation. Almost impossible, because an example would be, you can't have wakes, surf boats in docking in I think that was it was more for pontoon fishing. So, and those are tough, but I think if they're showing good management and everything else, I would assume that would carry over into that they wouldn't, you can't stop someone from pulling up, but you have to say, this isn't allowed. We protect this area. So, but thank you for doing that, because I mean, when people know that we are doing checks, I think the compliance will be, better. I mean, I think speeding is one of those. If there were no cops on the roads, we'd all be speeding more. I mean, it's the one law enforcement that makes you follow the laws is. I don't want to.
I think to your point though, Kyle, so often when these come in and they're controversial, it's all the extreme cases of everybody thinks that this is what it's going to be, and then when it comes, it's really
completely different.
not as bad. Yeah.
Yeah.
And I think we see that often. So,
But I think
but it's nice to hear
when
that.
we put the conditions on it,
It's nice to
it
see goodness.
hopefully it appeases their worries some, that this won't be as bad as we were thinking it might be.
And I think if some of those controversial cases, if they weren't following it, you'd be hearing about it.
Yeah, and you really don't. I mean, for
So-
instance, like that Toad Lake one. I mean, when I went by there's like 2 of those little small L fences that need to be fixed or whatever. But the place was immaculate. And I would tell you, if you ever go to the landfill, directly across the street is that hog pit that we granted a conditional use permit to Kevin Schlotterhoff for. Pull in there and look at that. It's unbelievable.
I don't think you can authorize us to pull in a business, but
Well,
you're just saying, look at it, yeah.
the conditional use permit, I think you probably have the authority just as anybody to go look. But it's, yeah, I think it'll shed a lot of light on what you hear and, help your decisions in the future. I mean, not that there isn't one or two out there. Commissioner Hansen has one in his district that has more cars than allowed, but from what we're seeing, the preliminary inspections we did, people are doing a very good job, so.
Another thing that conditional use, some of these requirements are, I mean, I think we're all familiar with the business in my area that has parking issues, being it changed usage. I mean, it was just an office building. Now it's a, service industry that has, can have 30 cars at the business. Well, it wasn't built for that. So that was that got moved into commercial. So it was zoned commercial, so they can change business, whatever, whenever. Conditional use permits would restrict that. And we could alleviate that too if we wanted to go commercial, but we'd have to have some parking requirement. We'd have to have in ordinance, if you have a business, you have to have this many parking spaces per square foot, something like that. But anyway, I thank you for following that up. And
Yeah, Madam Chair, Kyle, I'd say the same thing. Thanks for bringing that to our attention. Seems like we always hear about the bad news. I mean, just little tidbits like that is.
Yep.
They looked good.
Yeah, so.
All right, meeting adjourned.
Fat Tuesday, go get some shrimp oil.
oh man.
You're not supposed to boil shrimp.